My name is Shana Vivanco, and I'm gonna talk about a Disney Pixar's production movie named Coco. The story of this movie is about Miguel, who is a Mexican boy who lives in a house with all the Rivera's family. They hate music because the great grandmother of Miguel married to a singer who played the guitar and left her alone with her baby named Coco. Miguel's grandmother, Coco, despite of her family hate for her father, she loved him and hoped that he will come back one day. Miguel, on hiding, loved to play the guitar music, and he thought that he could show his skills to the world in a festivity called El Día de los Muertos, in which the dead are reunited with the living. But his family was against this with all the music, and they couldn't accept it that he would go and play music. So Miguel was fan number one of Ernesto de la Vega, who was a famous singer who was dead at the time, but he was remembered as the greatest Mexican superstar of ranchera son. Miguel found a photo of his great grandmother with her great grandfather and Coco, but the face of the husband was cut off. Because of the similarities of the guitar, Miguel thought that his great grandfather, was Ernesto de la Vega. But no one believed him, so he ran away and he cried and he went to the coffin of Ernesto and took his guitar. At the moment he took his guitar, he died. His soul was alive walking, but he was able to see the dead, and the people who were alive weren't able to see him. So he crossed the bridge and he went to look for his family so they could give him a blessing to return to the living. He found his great grandmother, and she was able to give him the blessing, but she had a condition that he will not be able to play music anymore, and he didn't accept it. So he went on the look for Ernesto de la Vega, that he thought that was his great grandfather, so he could give him the blessing for return to the living. In the experience that Miguel went to the land of the dead and looking for Ernesto, he met a friend named Hector, who, in the process of finding Ernesto, they realized that Hector was his actually great grandfather instead of Ernesto. And in the way when Hector was going back to home to with Coco's his grandmother, Ernesto killed him and steal all his music. So their families forgive each other. The great grandparents of Miguel forgave each other and get back together, and they gave him the blessing to Miguel to come back to the land of the living and put the Hector's pictures on the Rivera's family tree. So they were happy, and Coco remembered his parents, and the movie finished with all the Rivera's family got back together. We're gonna talk about a little bit of information about the movie. Coco is a 2017 American movie that is made on 3D technology. It was produced by Pixar Productions together with Disney, and it was released by Disney Pictures. It was directed by Lee Unkrich, if I'm not saying it bad, the name, and it was co-directed by Adrián Molina. The budget of this movie was $175 million to $200 million. The money that they make by February 18 of this present year is $730.4 million worldwide, and it's actually more than the average movie that makes normally. It was released in Mexico before that it was released in the United States. It was released on a week before El Día de los Muertos, that is a dead day, that is a celebration in the country. It was released in the United States on November 22, 2017. On April 13, 2016, Unrich announced that they will begin the work on the production for Coco's movie. And they made several trips to Mexico to make sure that they will represent the culture very well. So basically what they did is the producer and the co-producer, Adrián Molina and Unrich, make sure that they are representing not just the culture of Mexico, but they wanted to represent and change the idea of what the people in the United States have about Mexicans. They wanted to represent the colors, they wanted to represent this festivity that they love so much, that it was called El Día de los Muertos there, that is full of dancing, full of joy, full of music, full of love for the family who is dead. So the team of Coco Productors film found very difficult that they were working with skeletal creatures in Mexico, because for them to be able to do the 3D creation technology animation about skeletons, they wanted to make sure that they are doing a very close job and representing very well the culture and the skin tone, the bones, sizes and everything. So they basically found it difficult to work with that. Coco took inspiration from 3 movies. The first one is called Spirited Away, that it was released on 2001. The second one was Howl's Moving Castle, that was released on 2004. And the third one is John Wick, that was released in 2014. This inspiration was made by Unrich, that was the producer of the movie. A little bit of information about the Mexico is that in Mexico this movie Coco is the second highest grossing film of all time. This means that they has make more money than the second one ever before. The first one was actually the Avengers movie, and in China it was the second highest opening ever for a Disney or Pixar animated release in the public, and the first one was Zootopia. Another thing, some awards that this movie has won is the first one was chosen by the National Board of Review as the best animated film of 2017. The second one, they received a BAFTA awards for best animated feature film. They won for best animated feature film at Golden Globe Awards. They earned a nomination in 90 Academy Awards. The first one is the best animated feature, and the second one is best originated song. Coco was releasing in a very crowded market because there were other movies who were doing competition. Like some of them who were like around the Thanksgiving week was Thor Ragnarok, Justice League, Ferdinand, Cars 3, Inside Out, and The Good Dinosaur. Movies that are like 3D, like Coco's, is The Good Dinosaur, Inside Out, Cars 3, Ferdinand. The first teaser trailer that was released was on March 15 on 2017, but it wasn't official. The official was released on June 7, 2017, and the second trailer, who was more complex, was on September 13 of 2017. The film was marketed very extensively on Mexico, especially because they want to make their people feel proud of this movie, something that represents them and something that they feel proud of their backgrounds and ancestors. They wanted to, be able to market this movie, they paint the walls around the city of Mexico. And they also do a couple advertising that is more common, like banners and things like that. The film was so successful and made so much money that they will make Pixar are gonna do their first VR technology ever made for them, and they will have their own VR game. On the other hand, I want to conclude this presentation with my personal experience opinion about this movie. I believe that it was a very good, well-made movie and represents very good the Latin American culture, and specifically Mexico. I like it very much because it makes me engage into it, and it was very graphic and put the sentimental part, get to the public, and people love it. So I'm very glad that this movie was made and teach me some values also, that the family is very important. So I hope you guys watch the movie and you like it as much as I like it. Thank you.